and João Pedro. João Pedro.
And did I not mean person passion?
Are they Macadam?
Seriously. But then I'm in person.
But then I'm a candidate.
Oh, Cassa do. No, seriously. Oh, Cassa too much.
No, Maca.
And did I move Bobia, nominated from no.
And now,
become Shepe Cassa
and now, was it Kofi, a very say, Omar Dion, or the Kofi Flamingo. But, and now catch you up because you are better at it to go into the Casa.
Cassa too much. So, no Gabi in better ha. Say, João Pedro, no, a combine of, I was saying, Sexy, Hotland, or can one player because I can also one book.
Some place near Brandon Bromo Munina. Or background from Fadenka.
Because was it 2 goals?
Oh, or go club walk up.
If you go now, share no, get an special. Go now, João Pedro share. What is so special about an open me, Panama for Fremi, and a Richardo, and a João Pedro go no Nancy way? What is so special about the goal? Go no, say, what is so special? What your name from game no?
But me bese me kasi
go no, so what?
Bese me kasi wicho.
Say
from henceforth, say on air, I kasa no de wo ejuma. But say o kasa office wa, me shall be very careful.
Just say
because niema bi oda na de ne no. From a neck come sumu afidi. Me catch ro.
Just say
me ni pa boni nyan ka me catch ro. En sema ya wujitum e wa akire honom. Na obetena ha se ya o ha wani kase jiwa uba wo se jiwa Pedro Kofi bueno ya dio poison na habi ba obetena he ya sema oka na make I say be very careful the things you say in the office because I will set you up and you'll be recorded and that be recorded you be title no e be a different voice you can say Bomaneska voice man who wants to Bowankasa voice because ujitu wetiri oya do betena say no ezo and am very good ahead rich Mr. Odie ma me nyama dwuma me gidi say enel e important say we Chelsea nia ubebu nkompa ko achi kakra 2 years ago given where the club has come from in Baby Mabedu I think that at the time ana Todd Bowley mo ever talk club no. I don't think anybody would have thought of a Club World Cup final. In fact, even after the season we ended at Chelsea D4th, a Conference League, no. Even me, who have said several times, I'm a big believer in Chelsea projects and number somewhere, no. I didn't expect that there were going to be a Club World Cup final at this point in time. But there has been a full circle moment. And we at Chelsea, don't worry about whether the club will win and you'll be back. Don't worry about that. Because Chelsea fans have gone through it. Chelsea fans, on my break. And they be a Kobna Abramovich, Momina, Kwame, I mean, everybody, Minya, Kofi, Famo, everybody, your friend say Emmanuel Eselmo. Who wake up every day, ebe jam asumana jo, ebu okramada, na kwame put ebu amada 10. If you ne go keep
enchana na kwame.
Fi na go keep na. You may 10 goalkeeper bizamidi. Me upon Wednesday ana. But you see, because Chelsea fans were going through a very tough time. Clubia or Junior waje Champions League in 2021. Any club ne na ka say club ne ko ahohia no ko mu no. And you see, the Chelsea are managing the finances. It was just because there was a geopolitical issue between Russia and Ukraine that led to a certain sanction. To the extent that the owner of the club had time to sell the club to Nipa Onimum, and then they had to sell. At the end of the day, equity investment for a very long time. Who bought the club? Obviously, at that point in time, there were certain missteps. Kakra Chelsea for you to anko. But I maintain say a new dimension and Chelsea for one echo. And in as much as say a new dimension, say Nieman Esisimu yeah, they'll get a job done. Rich in football, and you by force will be an essay to experience. See, let us be there. And I don't agree with anybody or make us say, oh, because Chelsea in the past were winning left, right, center by force, you have to win today. No, nobody has better history in England than Liverpool. But Liverpool went 30 years. Does it mean the club wasn't doing anything right? They were in a transitional state. And then in the modern game, it happens to every club. Maybe a club are me, many things me di you know, only as a transition for a long time in Madrid. But Barca had it in recent times.
So you don't spend over 1 billion. Mm-hmm. Now my cars has win.
You see, that is why I'm telling you that every day when you say things like you don't spend over 1 billion, now my cars say much. See, I spend 1 billion in your club World Cup. So what down do you see? Does it mean that the club is successful?
Baby, I'm fine.
No. Oh.
Huh? Baby, I'm fine.
Me met now on a baby.
Oh, massa. Kasa too much.
Bob
Fluminese and you now, man. Obi kobo PSG. Obi for Real Madrid.
And 2 weeks ago and now 1 month and now 6 months ago, now say you don't spend over 1 million. Come make change, baby. But what say? And the Obi say over 1 billion. Mama, simple answer. And you are there. We all are full around it. That's what I've said several times. Say, sadly, you know, it doesn't explain. And yet the best answers in football. Whatever you spend, football and your profit and loss analysis. We can go back and tell you the number of money that Madrid was spending last season in terms of players or didn't buy. Does it mean that all of a sudden Madrid is a serious club and no? But the transitions do happen in teams. And how the club wants to move on from there, you have strategies. Chelsea is meton kra and metal potential. With time they'll develop. Joao Pedro and Nobia Bodidin. Joao Pedro only 26, only 27. In the 58 games that Joao Pedro played for Brighton and Hove Albion, only even 10 non-penalty goals. And again, my word is non-penalty goals. But then why? Because he has potential. Oman in the environment to thrive, he can win. When Moises Caicedo was coming, no GBBR. Why? And then Moises Caicedo is one of the best midfielders in the world. Enzo Fernandez had played in an Argentine team, won the World Cup, but at the club level, he had not achieved anything. Today, Enzo Fernandez is one of the best midfielders in the world. So what is going on? Lever Ekole from Chelsea Academy. How did he get here? It's a structure and an environment to give these boys more potential time to succeed. I can tell you today that say Chelsea a team economy like they are going now, they will have the most consistent and sustainable team for the next 6 years. Because the average team of the squad, average age 23. Acha by 30 years, these boys will get to levels. Okay, now you can say, okay, yes, the same kaka. And by that 6 years, I am confident that Chelsea can win the Champions League in the next 6 years. In the next 6 years, and no power card again because Sakura nibi. 6 years time. Me no be Sakura. We the Miami be so 6 years. You be Champions League nibi. You be EPL. Once you be treble. England for no come you be that. I mean Man City be the last time. You be treble. You be in 6 years time with Maresca. Hey, Charlie. We are Chelsea near Michelle Journey because the club has gone through it and it is bearing fruit and the Ushe team now. Maresca did the basic job in last season. And the Nobi Ushe team and now Sami Khedira was part of the FIFA technical team and share match. Or see, and now Chelsea game no boy was the best tactical game. The best game that has been played in the Club World Cup. And you mean America, me born me movie that Sami Khedira said it.
Boy, boy.
Sami Khedira. Papa.
Madrid Papa no boy.
We
Ono na beka sa asemizi. Chelsea boy yo mo boy. We grow mamu. Sami Khedira.
Bere
e peple bia ni mo dubi no aka asema mi etia. We Sami Khedira.
Na de be be fa bia mfama o. Ndi ade o se ma mo de. I think that Obia Washe Chelsea, this Club World Cup, Biano has been saying one thing. Say, Omo who say Enzo Maresca ball in certain different styles are no more last season. I don't think say a completely different from Enzo Maresca from the season. Now, me explain and say coach Ibia eba the first year. Now try so bad say you laid out the foundations of how you want to play. Until last season. Now about instilling the principles of senior no Maresca person upon the ball. Maresca epe say up central control and then be some Maresca pe inverted. Because Maresca's thesis to get his UEFA license A was about using the chessboard as a central control on a football field. And that's what he wants to do on Park. So that's how he wants to play. So it's about instilling the first positional principles for the team, in the first season. And now in the Club World Cup, yes, whatever it is, whether a major trophy, any major trophy, he had the luxury so better Sanyoma Kakra. And that game was Chelsea playing against the most experienced team in our Club World Cup in him. Experience in terms of age and longevity. Now Fluminese for a 40-year-old centre back in Thiago Silva, almost 42-year-old goalkeeper, almost 35-year-old fullback. It's a lot of experience in the team. A coach that coached for a very, very long time. And also playing in a style at Chelsea for not only Shiabi in the Club World Cup. 5 back like they did against Al Hilal. The absence of certain key players, I think that was the first question, and I says, okay, how will Chelsea answer these questions on the field of play? Centre backs, Ben Obebo, Andre Santos, Fiifi-Manfred, or is he going to go into Moise Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez? And Maresca started it and solved it for us brilliantly. He started game at our lineup, and I think Zenkofu Bebre were a little bit confused. Lineup of Christopher Nkunku, lineup of Marco Correa, Malo Gusto, Cole Palmer, Joao Pedro, Pedro Neto himself, Trevor Chalobah, Tosin Adrebiayo, Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez. People ask questions over there. But Rich, you see, and now Enzo Maresca EBA so chere, their coaches want to the fluid rigidity. And Sami Chiremu structure no hodom. You know in the structure, but in the structure, Obi a bit a movie. It's the Chelsea team now. There was a time where, for the very first time in a long time, Enzo Fernandez had the sole responsibility in build-up. It's Chelsea for the build-up. Fernandez to me ball the ball even as a left fullback to come and receive the ball in that area. Nama Kukuraya Abba inverted Kaka. There was a lot of rigidity in that area. And now acquire a very aggressive attacking style. Now, this is a notation that I want to show you. In Chelsea's left-hand side of the game, Abrana Chelsea person will break it down a very low Fluminese side. Echaru, say, watch it on your tactical board. What joining us?
Masa, all your analysis. Baby, your analysis near Comaza. Nija Richard. FIFA for Muko technical and say, Sami Kadira. Na FIFA they say go say deal Sami Kadira. Players are bobo we see. Players papa aggressive occasion. Who go technical team also the Sami Kadira. Jan Infantino dey say onye serious back bra. Ne nam from nam on anopa wo kase hoyam nwa. Team man ni defender 40-41 we mu kograwi. Na ya Pedro ojo gro bi en da kana. Abe jine jo wonum na hwan be hye bia jine mrema do hu. You see football. Ate, you see football. A good fellow sending message. Chelsea here na mako. Di na ma. Bo be na ma bo no. Mo bibia but okasa too much. And you remember in match, you knew commonator say, we are analyst Cano, Richardo, we are analyst Richard Mignon, the enemy. Game Bayan boy. The boy obeyed 9 against 11. As a 2-0. Bayern with the 9 against 11. Casasana. Are you Fluminese? I come as be Uko Brazil. Teams no Babo Brano, 12, G12. I'm that seat. Kokran Kwana Botino. Thiago Silva will be an so about Chelsea. When you boy, a peja, would you question in the first goal? Jean Pedro first goal. Maybe question because of about Chelsea, then or the boy even no correct. But born far, and no bofao. Keep as some coffee if you say carpenter need you, carpenter for Mutim, some fan chubby. But me can in the context of say carpenter need and fan to go puzzle. Kofa goalkeeper wait. Boy to be boy. Man coffee no plan kasa ni pa so plate. Yaso. Na Fluminese to mo ban to man goalkeeper bia we no de ne bai. Wurade nyame. Say na football no hu de o man ni bia. Serious. Kanya Sapa Kofi. I wish Sananka Manchester United and Kebo tournament. More minute too much. Tournament you more minute too much. For go. Embre. No, I'm a chef from Wednesday for that. I'm here, David Drew. Wait. Ye kwadi way. Akwebe se akoya say ti. Ye Colombia be didi.
Mukoni ni awokoya.
Ebi esu ase ti.
Zani empampa.
Sama aba.
E ka mano.
Any game papa unkomo na Fluminese team. Final no na match. How dey tie Kofi. So final ne dey Real Madrid or Paris Saint-Germain.
So
what me show mo dey. And you know the uba me di kura me an meje so. Na wa so from me na ye ba ko no from Richardo. Me nya na dey na me ka you.
Na kemie as why you did it. As why you did it.
As me rough. FIFA mu nim se nkofu mi mpo ma sem. Mu PG ne Real Madrid o ko no mu nyi wo.
Na se nyi.
Mama ma kofa Fluminese na Isa de kofa.
Na ye ne ka chere PG se ma ne se Botafogo. Eni ye ne ka chere Man City so wu.
Aseme papa.
Ye ye boy.
Kasi de in fact kofi mu koma ni ma na mi ba bia mi ya wo. Se Chelsea ko na ni ma na mba bia mi ya. Mi sugu mi yam sa.
Yes, Osuru Gujem.
No, mu bo ewie na mi.
Yeah, it's a good fellow the message is.
Also be omiam osane me yi mistake bi. Omiam. Ready Nyankopon. Chelsea.
Good fellow the message is said ya raduro. And I was do just to wash me. Me ma be to wa.
Gianni Infantino pa, o papa me frɛ. Aka cho se masa ko phone team. Mo mu PG na Real Madrid.
Enra boy. Born here share. Ya mo bora.
Mo.
Excellent play.
Bankofo na nyini.
No, Richard Derby. Regardless of even Nkofo na nyini. Enra ye bobo no.
O board yes am bobo because on say mo bobo because of say Nkofo no players na nyini nkokra.
Ti Benfica.
Ya Pedro 10 om say no mo abedia.
Benfica for ne.
Benfica.
Aye.
Na team I Barca team here Manchester Betway show me.
Right.
At the time against 11 show more Dragao.
This is waji Maresca Diana.
Oh, why nice coach. He's a good coach.
And I don't know say Mourinho at the channel.
Oh, so Mourinho him so top notch. Just that. Why I'm a fetting papa. Obey team, you know, and yet he's a top.
Let me point out the rotations I'm talking about. And no penny, the only tactical I wanted to mention near D Madrid.
Your analysis.
Yeah, make it here for.
What's the Chelsea for? Chelsea for Muntieme. And Mumidi. Chelsea, the minimum.
Indeed, Mr. Also, a tactical order. The another may point out here. Rich, every church book a carabao. And no any dancing, so over Facebook, we will enjoy the come pa. You know, I'm me say not Chelsea elbow bone biara. Although there is a structure, and they say almost against a low block. Into Chelsea per 6 man in the final line. Into Okai, Pedro Neto, 1. Then Enzo Fernandez 2. Box him. Ubenya in Kunkonia Abrante Ferro, Joao Pedro in there. On the other side, Abrante Ferro. Malo Gusto and Palmer, making it the 6 over there. But Rich, in all of these things, which means a Marco Correa Abba, more like another winger, then Abrante friend Moises Caicedo is in a vertical position with Abrante friend Enzo Fernandez. Very, very aggressive, fluid structure. In fact, even before then, you're also going to see that Chelsea are trying to build up. And only touching Adre Bio and Abrante friend Trevor Chalobah with Caicedo and Abrante friend Marco Correa. Aggressive attacking style of play, aggressive plan in terms of the fluid rigidity from Enzo Maresca to be able to make sure say you'll be good. And Richard Bibi say in this system. One of the things that are a problem for most managers, and they say, "We counter press and say you're sharp." And again, make a counter press. Now, what I mean is that say unya lusu bona in 6 to 10 seconds, and say ultimately win the ball back. Yeah. And that is why,
number 1,
especially Moise Caicedo.
Yeah, number 1. I don't know if I'm some players who are young in India.
The young,
they can press you. No matter
them quickly. Yeah. Of course, I branch a friend Marco Correa, which she will be I know Kopama position, Although nominally in Nkunku na on the right half space, then Enzo Fernandez in the left half space. Cole Palmer was more like the floating and roaming number 10. It's on a tactical board, maybe a Cole Palmer ball on the left hand side. Still, what it means is that Pedro Neto's will show for ball. I say keeping the weight for you, and now it is the Pedro Neto ability to keep the weight. And the man said, Joao Pedro go on the buy and Charlie, that goal for my brand here, friend. Joao Pedro was brilliant by all standards. Rich, look at the technique from the young man, and I bet
very precise,
very and Rich throughout the time Brighton. He had not scored a goal outside of the box before.
Okay.
Unusual of him. And Ayala Bekan's story, I want to reiterate it. For football, for football, Ayana Adia, Emma football, interesting, Rich, the stories. No? I mean, you bet him will fall around taxes and all of those things. But the stories make football stand out. Say Accra. Ne papa ko jail, ne papa buy no we be 18 or so. Ono ne papa ne di 30 plus. Or buy no because ne mama mu nim say boy ne bobo na ne papa so bobo nti. Wa bobo Fluminese for na scout no. Omo movie film mu krom Echo de Janeiro horum for them to give a house on rent, go and play for a club like that. Now for the Oma Babeton. Rich, from that point in time, Abrantier friend Joao Pedro goes on to Watford. And of course, moves to Chelsea in the first game starting. You know, I saw him 2 goals. And no one be say Andre Santos. Andre Santos say Oko Brazil, you afraid the curse of the ex-player. Say player what turn amobi, the curse of the eno babesiano. Ane mo do too much. But look at this goal, Richard. And you were talking about it. Just Abowi.
Or the Abrante and Barney, we can't afford to
look at that.
And then that man, you're brilliant, you know.
I think that was an excellent strike.
I would say, player be our boy anymore.
Yeah.
For instinct. It's very, very important. Also, who's that Branton? No, we can't afford to
yeah.
To Fabona, cutting and Okuaquano. Keep aiming. So free him,
excellent strike.
I baby do best. I just anthem. Watch.
That's all. Excellent strike. Rich, now I loved what the Chelsea players did on Instagram. Just 30 seconds. Enzo Fernandez, another final. Chelsea is back where it never should have left.
Kofi, where they were Chelsea in common Madrid in common. Mr. Sam says Chelsea were final. Yami Adama Kosiada.
Yeah.
And then you make game, no?
Yeah.
PSG Real Madrid. I'm saying no, you say question.
Yeah.
Yes, I said Chelsea for 2 teams in between. The 2 teams, you know. When number person born final, PSG or Real Madrid.
PSG or Real Madrid.
I no payment. Omo mujo omo so no. Emu graso nkebeya omo nya combined.
Combined 11.
Real Madrid and PSG.
And as a first half of PSG for Mra.
Na second half Real Madrid ababo. Kasa say ya. Kasa. Because what say enkokrawi. Thiago Silva to ezu odware kura huruma. Udaria ehuru krama because when you man koto dwe epoi yesi pobi esi ho no what she we 2-0 was yan come a combine of the Real Madrid ni PSG na mo PSG ai team sin ko metu aso mo oh kasa say ntina me pesa mo be come anim no
it is Sunday ye show mo
mo ada so mo na command dey sen kamisia Chelsea jika bu me be dey Monday me be dey and my fro kuku any Jimmy my friend kwasitum
say you are routine ba
say me anam beji ska no
pato sro wa omunya ona kofi
yes ankofu be kume
it's 86.9 million pounds.
Okay.
But and the big one is there.
Okay.
And then in front of Spain, papers, no any l'équipe, the story goes on. I think that game will be trickier for Madrid in the sense of say I feel no much show me and Paris Saint-Germain are a more stable team. So I'm beginning to ask myself, where does the game end up? And now matching like Nagabi Ekano, I don't know if this thing will affect the Madrid team for 1 hour. No more circle in the airspace of New York just to get clearance to land. Later on, more clearance to land at New York Stadium which Abanti friend of William Pacho will be out for Paris Saint-Germain. So it's going to be Donnarumma, Marquinhos, Berardo, Ashraf Hakimi, Nuno Mendes, Joao Neves, Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, Dembele, Desiree Doué, and Vicha Kvaratskhelia. Whilst on the other side, because Dean Huijsen out, another big miss for Fiifi-Manfred in Madrid. Asensio, Rudiger, Fran Garcia, Trent, Valverde, Tchouameni, Goulet, Vinicius Jr., Bellingham, and Abrantier friend Kylian Mbappé. My baby Chirichim, how Abrantier Fredo, Jabi Alonso loves to use Abrantier Yefredo or Tchouameni. Sometimes as part of the back five in build-up, sometimes as a lone six in terms of the build-up ability. Then Obe push Abrantier Fredo, Federico Valverde, and Abrantier Fredo, Ada Goulet into the half space to receive the ball. But they are now going to play against the Paris Saint-Germain team. They are very aggressive and then they will press you very, very well. I think the game comes down to margins. I think the game will come down to margins again. Because, Rich, whether you like it or not, you have to factor the fact that Paris Saint-Germain have played a lot of games. And any new players in their team, maybe it will affect them. Of course, Nyayetini said Mbappe is going to be in there with Vinicius Jr. as the top two in a crunch game for Tima, your friend of Real Madrid or Horam. Who is my money on? Usika Hawaii. I think that the most certain thing in
Madrid. To be honest with you. Professor Omaye. Samusha Madrid.
Yeah.
Madrid in Madrid is equally good.
But as compared to Paris Saint-Germain.
So what they compare Paris Saint-Germain? I think PSG4 no, almost a complete team.
Yeah.
And then Kakana Chelsea defense, you know.
Yeah.
So unya players omutimi pick the pockets of a Chelsea defenders. Yeah. Spaces don't use very well. They can easily score. And me share two teams now. Me feel say PSG anymore no Kvaratskhelia, Desiree, Dembele, Vitinha betimi de. So the passes na shim. No more pick at the pockets of Chelsea defense no na omo dia hye. Eti nyamianum kwene me pese Chelsea share PSG.
We pese Chelsea be.
Say na be a party no. Be sanya.
But unse enra boys no edi code smiensa.
Okay.
And ye pese codes na ye dino from Monday na to be cha and ye be send the code and code number be down no ma. Make sure so be cha because I know be send. But the most certain one that I want to put in the code and they say there will be over 1.5. Right. Match 2 goals over 1.5 remember. I'm even tilting to the point say one shane then the game will not be decided in regulation time. Oh, hold on. I don't want to put my money on anybody because I think it's an open game. Measure game as a neutral.
Okay.
Measure game as a neutral, the Chelsea fan. Make sure whoever will meet in the final, and then we'll see how the final will go. See, we'll see how it's going to pan out. You need Emre for the transfer stories. Sure. We'll come back with a lot of the transfer stories. No, yeah, be didn't come. Rich, mami for code into ja na and you remoni ko fikesi mi send DBM. Throughout the week there, as the games have come, African Cup of Nations and Man the European Youth, and of course Club World Cup, it's good for us to win. First code 21036AB9. Second code 21036439. Third code no 21036056. Next one no 210355F11. And the last one 21035042. Rich. These are the codes I know. You didn't met for. Makacho anytime be a Chelsea. Every match bias mesanchiska. Interne mesanche 2,000 Ghana cedis. 2,000 Ghana cedis. 2,000 and what journey as a midday Rich, your first 2,000 Ghana cedis before say Alberto Asamano. Come number.
First winner for the Siko near 0542-964 0542-964. Because as I say, ni momo no soon 2,000 cities star 281 hash star 281 hash and eche 2,000 kwa can it 20 million eche 5 inti unsubo